Hey there, Marvel fans. This is Wesatron. Today we're going to be taking a look at Hasbro's Captain America Civil War Winter Soldier action figure. If you know him from the comics or the movies, he's more often referred to as Bucky, but this is the Sebastian Stan character from the recent MCU movies, which is Marvel Cinematic Universe. As you can see, this is exclusive to Walmart. These have just started coming in. I did not expect to see them at the store, so I was very excited. On the side of the package, we've got a shot of Sebastian Stan, standard window box packaging on the back, more of the Bucky character, and right up here it says, Winter Soldier is a fierce combatant and an asset in battle no matter which team he fights for. So leave it kind of ambiguous for those who haven't seen the movie. But no extra credits on the bottom of the box or anything like that. Very simple packaging, what we've been seeing from Hasbro. Let's go ahead and get him out and see what he's like. And here we have Bucky out of packaging, and he's a very cool looking figure. They did a really, really good job here. I really like him. You know, pretty basic overall, but, you know, it was a pretty basic costume in the movie, so not that surprising. He does come with two accessories. He comes with the same Desert Eagle that, you know, the original Bucky cap came with. It came most recently with Deadpool, except he had a couple of them. It's got a kind of a dark brown frame and a black receiver, well, black slide, I guess. Yeah, that's an odd combo, but it does match his K-bar, which again came with Deadpool and is kind of a Tanto style. We got brown on the handle and black, kind of a glossy blade. So, and he can hold both of those just fine. It looks pretty good doing so. But yeah, the big draw for this figure is just the really, really nice likeness to actor Sebastian Stan. Put a little more light on that. That's like incredible. To me, that looks exactly like him. I don't know, everybody's got different opinions, but I think he looks perfect. Where the Falcon figure had kind of an okay Anthony Mackie look, this is just right on target. It is exactly what I wanted to see in this figure. We've got very nicely detailed hair back here as well, and it is a darker color that's got like a light dry brush over top of it, so he's got some really nice depth to his hair. A little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow going on there. Very nice, cleanly painted eyes. I did see a lot of, there was probably 4 or 5 of them on the pegs, and this was the only one that was decent. There was a lot of little smudges here and on his hand as well. So just keep an eye out for that. But yeah, as I said, this is his look from Civil War, but primarily this is the same body that they used for the Winter Soldier action figure that they released back when the Winter Soldier came out. Everything is pretty much the same except for the midsection and the head. This is a whole new midsection right through here, and this, of course, is the new Sebastian Stan head. But yeah, same details as before. Not quite as good paintwork as that figure had, but as an exclusive, you don't expect them to really put in the same kind of man hours. But they do a pretty good job. You know, nice kind of glossy look to the leathery armory bits. No super paint detail on the arms or anything, unfortunately. Most of this is cast in the plastic or is in the color of the plastic it was cast in. But not too bad overall. I mean, overall, he still fits in with the aesthetic of all the other figures. He just might look a little bit more plasticky. But yeah, the head just really, really makes up for it. I mean, that's immediately where my eye is drawn as soon as you pick the figure up. He's just amazing head sculpt. So yeah, very, very simple, very basic. And as I said, he's pretty much the exact same body as the other Bucky. Only this time he doesn't have quite as good paint, as I said. The original Bucky, you can see, has bullets painted here on his arm. They're just straight black here. He's got a nice wash all over his vest. Both arms, it made this arm look, it really brought out the detail in that arm. They did quite a lot to kind of make up for the kind of blandness of the costume, and they didn't do the same here, but the sculpt is still really solid. They did a good job overall. But yeah, pants are the same, boots, the knee guards, everything exactly the same except for the torso and the heads. So yeah. Now onto articulation. The figure actually has a really nice ball joint in the head. Get some nice side-to-side motion there. You get a little bit up and down. It's hard because the joint wants to move the the hinge joint, because he does have a hinge joint that allows his head to go down about that far. Because of the long hair and the collar, he can only look up about that far, but that's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, he still looks up quite a bit. Swivel hinges in the shoulders. They go up to about there. Swivels just above the biceps muscles. Perfect. First hinge in the elbow goes to about there. Second hinge about up to there. Very nice. Swivel hinges in the wrists. Go in and out and around perfectly. Swivel in the waist. Very, very nice ab crunch here. He goes forward that far, which is crazy good for a figure. But the weird part is the way they sculpted his back leaves this weird, large, squarish gap right here. So hopefully if you bend him this far forward, you don't have him turn to the side of the back, because that is just weird looking. I'm not sure why they decided to design it like that instead of curving it in to make it look a little more natural, but I don't know. I'm not a toy designer. And then going back, he gets about that much range. Which again, if that was kind of curved off instead of a shelf, he might get a little bit more, but you know, you don't have to have too much range going back that way. And I showed you the swivel. We've got a swivel hinge or ball and socket hips. It's kind of hard to tell on these figures. They may be, I think they're swivel hinge. But they go out about that far on either side. So not great, but not terrible. And they go forward about that far. The butt blocks some motion going back, but not as bad as some of the figures we've seen lately. Swivels in the upper thighs up here. Go all the way around. Double hinges in the knee. First point gets you 90 degrees. Second point takes you back about that far. And then even though these are two parts separate that you can tell that they're cast in separate plastic, this is not a swivel here. You can't turn that joint. It's just where it's glued in. It's the perfect place to put a swivel. I don't know why they decided not to do it. If you can put it on there, you're wasting money on glue. I don't understand. But yeah, no swivel in the calf, unfortunately, which sucks because the ankle joints are not great. They do go back quite a ways, which is good, but they're only cut up to here on the front. So there's your vanilla pose. You're only going to get his leg to go forward about that far, which is not much at all. And it's even worse, I think, on this shoe, where you try to push it forward and that's as far as you're going to get. Almost nothing. Not great. I don't like it. And then you got swivels that go about that far. So yeah, articulation, pretty decent. Not the best we've seen lately, but certainly not the worst. He's about on par with the Falcon figure that we showed, but he does have slightly less range in the ankles. And here's Bucky with the Best Friends gang, and you can see he's a little bit taller than Falcon over here, and a little bit taller than Cap too. With the change in the head, and I guess the torso probably adds some height as well. It really does make a difference in how tall he was. Overall, he comes in at right about 6.5 inches tall, maybe just shy of 6.5 inches. So he is, you know, much taller than our new Falcon over here. So yeah, value-wise, it's a bit of a mixed bag because the paint is definitely lacking. The sculpt, in my opinion, more than makes up for the paint. I can always do a wash myself, but I know not everyone has that capability or wants to spend that kind of time on it. The big letdown is the ankles. They didn't improve them at all from the last release. They didn't add a swivel to the calves. They had some opportunities to make this figure really stellar, and they kind of chose to pull back a little bit. Again, it's probably the same reason that he didn't come with his pistols. It was because they spent all the money on that new sculpt and these new wings. I mean, there's a lot to be said about how much that costs, and trying to balance out, because these are basically their own way of trying to balance all that out. I can see why they decided to pull back on paint a little bit and not really update the sculpt too much. That being said, what was updated is really impressive. The head on this guy is just, to me, it's the best likeness they've done yet. Short of maybe Coulson. Coulson is a really good likeness. But this is just stellar. It's just absolutely incredible. I love the look at him. Yeah, they did a great job on the figure. Is he worth your 20 bucks? It's the only version of Bucky as a good guy that we have, so if that's not enough to pull you in, the likeness is great. He's still a really good action figure. He could use a little bit more range, but he's not terrible. So yeah, I think he's worth the 20 bucks. The The biggest difference between him and a normal retail release is that he does not come with any kind of Build-A-Figure piece. And since he doesn't have the large wings of Falcon, he does feel a little bit light in the accessory department. The original Bucky did come with this rifle, which he doesn't use one like this in the new movie in Civil War, but at the end of the movie he does have a rifle. I don't remember what guns he used throughout the entire movie, but I know he had a large rifle at the end. They could have just given us another one of those just to kind of sate us, but they decided not to. Again, I guess it didn't cost out, so a little light on the accessories department, but overall I still think he's a great figure. He's a definite pickup if you're an MCU fan. Go ahead and grab him before he sells out and he's impossible to find. That's it for this review. If you have any questions or comments on this guy, please throw them in the box below. I'll be glad to help you out in any way I can. And I thank you for tuning in. I'll talk to you later. Bye.